What's up guys, it's Ed from TechSource, and today we're going to be taking a look at the jack of all trades in the smartphone industry, the HTC 10. It may not be waterproof, have the best camera, or even the best display, but my time with it has proven to be anything but lacking. So let's go and get the specifications out of the way before we start. Under the Quad HD Super LCD display is Snapdragon's latest offering, the 820 processor paired with 4GB of RAM. Also, something we don't see all that often is specialized audio hardware, but in this case we do get a 24-bit DAC and amp for improved audio quality. Keeping this phone juiced is a 3000 mAh battery, and it comes standard with 32GB of memory, which is expandable via microSD card. And finally, the rear and front cameras are 12 and 5 megapixels respectively. So with all of those numbers out of the way, let's kick this review off with the hardware. In typical HTC fashion, we get this block of metal that feels nice in the hand and in my opinion looks great. They did do something new this year, however, by adding these not too subtle chamfers along the back. When I first saw this online, I thought it was ridiculous, but my opinion did a complete 360 when I actually had it in hand. Ergonomically, it helps with how the phone nests in your hand, and in person, it does look pretty badass. Throw a D-brand skin on there to add a bit more grip and you have yourself a fresh beast of a design. I'll drop a link down below if anyone is interested in checking out these skins for themselves. Even the buttons on this phone feel just extra, not in the sense that there's too many, but just by the feel and how much pressure it takes to activate. And for me, that was an unexpected positive. The display on this phone is what HTC calls a Super LCD 5, which tells us that it's 1, an LCD display, and 2, it's somehow super. The color is not as vibrant as something like the Galaxy S7 with its AMOLED display, but on that note, it's more accurate than that of the S7, which is something I actually like. I guess it depends on what you prefer to look at in the end, but AMOLED or not, the display is plenty sharp. It doesn't, however, get as bright as you would think, which could be a problem if you're under direct sunlight. You might also notice that there aren't two grills flanking the display like the previous models, which brings up the question, where's that boom sound? Well, it's still here, but implemented in a new way. HTC decided to separate the tweeter and the woofer to the top and bottom for the sake of innovation, I guess. It doesn't get as loud as the HTC 9, so my question then is, if it's not broken, why fix it? It still strides better than the Galaxy S7's almost cringeworthy speaker, and it's louder than most phones out there, but it's not what we're used to seeing from HTC. And that was kind of a letdown to me. Here's a quick sound comparison between the Galaxy S7 and the HTC 10.
I can never ever find the right words. There's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl. So I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels. Find the right words. There's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl. So I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that.
Once you plug in some decent earphones, however, even the ones included in the packaging, the audio experience improves dramatically. You could even go a step further and personalize your own audio profile based on the unique way you hear sound. Both audio software and hardware deliver the loudest and clearest sound I've ever heard from a phone. Now let's talk about the cameras. HTC has a reputation of delivering subpar cameras on their flagships, but I'm happy to say that that's not the case with the HTC 10. We get 12 megapixels at 1.55 microns, image stabilization, laser autofocus, and an aperture of 1.8, which all sound good on paper, but when taking a look at the pictures and videos, they're just above average. It seems to overexpose pictures and just doesn't compare to the Galaxy and iPhones out there. One thing worth mentioning is that the front-facing camera also has built-in image stabilization, which is a first that I've seen, and that was a pretty cool feature. But in the end, if you're looking for the best smartphone camera out there, I would honestly look somewhere else. However, when it comes to battery performance, you won't be disappointed. I got through most days with just about 4 hours of on-screen time without any worries, and rarely used the power saving modes. But when I did, I was able to get 5 more hours of device power with just 1% battery. That, in combination with Quick Charge 3.0, gives me assurance that I won't be looking for USB-C cables halfway through the day. It doesn't, however, include wireless charging, which to some could be a disappointment, but I never found myself using that feature with any phone I've owned, but it's worth mentioning. The software is probably my favorite part of this phone. It's fast, includes virtually no bloatware, and has features that you wouldn't find on stock Android. One thing you'll notice right off the bat is how quick this phone just makes things happen. That's in part of HTC's effort of reducing touch lag, as well as the animation speeds being scaled back. Over my period of testing, it hasn't slowed down at all, and at no time was I waiting for a tap to register or an app to open up. It has a very stock Android look and feel, and this alone makes this phone a must check out if you're shopping around for a new Android flagship. Overall, the HTC 10 is the best well-rounded phone on the market as of now. It does a lot of things right, and hopefully with some software tweaks, HTC can improve the camera's performance a bit and put it up there with the competitors. It's not waterproof, nor does it have 2 cameras or wireless charging, but in an odd way, it's currently my favorite Android phone on the market. Part of that, I guess, is because this phone is such an underdog. I mean, no one was expecting this much from HTC, but they came out with a product that checks pretty much all the boxes. But that pretty much wraps up my review of the HTC 10. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, and as always, I will see you in the next video.